Athens for a exclusive tour, Sarah, around the Classic City, bringing her husband Jonathan Owens, safety for the Chicago Bears in the NFL, and a really cool experience for Simone and her husband to get to see some parts of the University of Georgia and of Athens and get to have the college experience that she didn't really get to have, obviously, having the decorated Olympic career that she had. Really fun to get to see her take advantage of all that the college campus has to offer here at Georgia.
I mean, she has done just about everything that you could possibly do in this sport, but you're right, didn't experience college gymnastics, so I'm sure that she's enjoying getting to be a little bit of an honorary member here as she gets to join her former head coach on the floor.
How neat to see these two who combined for gold medals, Olympic championships, to come here and get to share Cecile's new home with Simone Biles. And you look at the resume, there is no doubt that she is the greatest of all time, the most decorated gymnast in the history of the sport, 11-time gold medalist, 30-time world champion. There's just not enough space on this graphic, Sarah, to fill her accolades and everything that she has meant to this sport.
Not enough space and not enough thank yous. I mean, I would say that every athlete that does gymnastics wants to just say, thanks for what you've done for us. It's incredible.
Special way to begin Cecile Cancuto-Landy's tenure here. Simone looking on. We'll take a break. More to come from Athens when we return. To call the dogs in front of this home crowd. It has been a delight to get to share some of her behind-the-scenes exploits here in Athens. And again, this is something that she never got to do, but you get to be a part of this crowd, this atmosphere, a neat moment for both the Georgia crowd and for Simone Biles as well.
I wonder what made her more nervous, competing at the Olympics or having to call the dogs in front of a pretty rowdy Georgia crowd.
Oh, she is standing by, ready to go. She looks at ease no matter where you put her, to be fair. She's got command of the room, whatever she's doing.
With as much experience as she has in the sport and really becoming a celebrity because of all of her success, I can't imagine that she's too scared to do too much of anything.
If there's a small part of her that says, you know what, I could have also been the most decorated NCAA gymnast of all time if I had just gone that slightly different route. And now the crowd has woken up to what's going on here as she's on the big screen here in the arena, and a standing ovation from 10,000 fans for a national hero, Simone Biles, and it is deafening here inside Steckler Coliseum.
I mean, it's pretty cool. That is a pretty cool moment. Simone officially to be adopted into her new Georgia community as she gets the honor of, alongside her husband, Jonathan Owens, getting to call the dogs here at Steckler Coliseum. Very good. Welcome to Georgia. Officially a Bulldog now, a gym dog, Simone Biles. Sarah, let's catch up on everything that we've seen so far. A lot of great gymnastics. Let's start with the highlights from the first rotation. Georgia on vault, Boise State on bars. Georgia bringing a lot of 10.0 start values to this vault lineup this year, just needing to refine those landings. As does Boise State over on the bars, had a few sticks, some really exciting moments, big gymnastics. But of course, both teams looking to capitalize on getting back in the gym and just fixing those tiny little mistakes.
High score on bars, Emily Lopez, a 9.875 to cap off the first rotation for Boise State. In the second, Georgia on bars, first Boise State on vault.
Unique vaults in that Boise State lineup, so fun to watch. Really cool gymnastics, bringing a little bit of a different look.
And then Georgia on bars actually upped their total, which was second in the country a week ago with a 49.375 on bars, and they closed really strong.
They were finding the landings and just doing some high-flying release moves. Amplitude, power, just the whole package from this Georgia bars lineup.
Capped off by a 9.925 score from Jeffrey Scott in the anchor position, and Georgia has surged into the lead. A meet summary at Boise State with the lead at the end of one rotation by just over a tenth, highlighted by that 9.875 from Emily Lopez. And then in the second rotation, between the 5 vaults for Boise State, only the 2:10.0 starts, not able to match some of the scoring as Georgia goes high on their bar scores with a 49.375, and they've got the lead here as we get ready to go underway in rotation number 3.
Just really great work from both of these teams, and amazing to see Boise State be able to really step up and go 5 vaults, 5 count, and just keep the meet moving.
There are your third rotation lineups. Georgia on the beam, Boise State on floor. Nia Howard leading things off. She struggled last week, an uncharacteristic fall. They've got complete confidence in her to bounce back and lead things off this week.
No problems tonight. Capping off with her gainer full dismount. I think her fall really shook up the team last week. I mean, first event out, starting the new season, you really want to start off with a bang, and for her to come off of the apparatus, the rest of the lineup really had to kind of find their center and get things back together. No problems tonight.
No, and you know, I know the adage, Sarah, is you've got to do all 4 anyway, but no one is signing up to start in a quad meet on beam, let alone your very first meet of the season. Georgia got handed a tough set of cards, and it hurt them a little bit last week, but they are poised for a bounce back here. Meanwhile, over to floor, senior Alyssa Boulage would lead things off.
And they love having her in this leadoff position. Starting her routine off with that connection pass. Things to look for on floor. Athletes are going to have to do 2 saltos in connection. You're going to look for leaps and jumps with full 180-degree split, really working those feet to get all the way around. Coming into this season, there's a big conversation around judging and getting those start values, and a big area on floor that you have to really work to get that start value is the leaps, jumps, and turns. Great to see the endurance so early in the season. We mentioned it's a long season, and sometimes starting off those floor routines, you really have to kind of find your footing, but she looks to have it well under control. Take another look at that combo pass, 1.5 to front full. And finishing with her double pike. Love her sharpness, how she really tries to command those landings.
Back over to beam now, sophomore Zora Oregon. Did not compete last week in the lineup for the first time this season.
And she spent much of last season in that number 7 spot, just really trying to work her way into this lineup. Did several exhibitions, spent a lot of time as the alternate, so I know that she's really proud of earning that number 2 spot in the lineup. Such a beautiful beam worker, really showcasing lots of flexibility. Just leaves just a small balance check. Just a dismount left. She 1.5. Small hop up landing. Good to see her in the lineup, really trying to make her mark.
She went as high as 9.875 last season when she was able to get into that competition lineup, and only going to get better with more experience as this year goes on.
Always a crowd pleaser with her mount, starting with a split and nice dismount to finish.
Up second on floor, Anna Ferguson, and an update to the Boise State lineup. Unfortunately, McGovern has been scratched again, so not expecting to see her tonight. Difficult adjustment here for Boise State, so they will slide up Pascal and Loyam into the 4th and 5th spots, and Sydney Leach, who was scheduled to exhibition, now up in the 6th position for Boise State.
For Anna Ferguson, she's actually much newer to this lineup, so not a lot of experience on floor under her belt, and I believe that was a mistake to start off her routine. Usually she does a front layout to a 1.5. She only did a half there. Double tug. Nice finish.
See Boise State last week on floor, 48.950, just a shade off of that 49.
Yeah, that opening tumbling pass, it looked like she maybe just got a little bit off, but finishes really strong with the double tap.
Back over to beam freshman Brooke Lichowski. Took a fall last week, looking to bounce back here at home as Nia Howard did with that opening 9.75.
She uses almost the entire length of the beam on that triple series. Unfortunately, comes off again. Good news for this Georgia lineup is they really have a lot of depth on the balance beam. They have several athletes in the 7, 8, 9 spot who can jump in at any point. So maybe as this freshman really gains her confidence and refines her routine as she moves out the season, there's always another athlete. They have that next man up mentality. So just the dismount left for her. 1.5. Pretty sizable jump on the landing, but nothing that you can't get back in the gym and really work out. Of course, being in front of this crowd, competing in the segment for the first time as a freshman, it's a lot to take in.
It's certainly not the start that she would have hoped for through these first 2 weeks, but you can see the talent and the skill that she has brought with her here as a freshman. Speaking of, Bridget Kemp, freshman, up 3rd for Boise State on floor exercise. And the judges are conferring over on the side about the floor routine from Anna Ferguson, and I expect, Sarah, it's that first pass again with the half instead of the 1.5, what deduction that is going to, or what effect that's going to have on the start value.
Yeah, that's definitely going to take her start value down, but I mean, sometimes it's just that split-second decision you have to make in the air. When something feels off, it's better to be a little bit safe than sorry. Maybe take the bigger deduction, avoid the bigger deduction on the start value, maybe to avoid maybe an injury or something like that if you just don't feel 100% comfortable in the air. It actually takes a lot of talent, a lot of air awareness to make that split-second decision. I mean, you imagine flying through the air and being like, oh, nope, not gonna do that extra full today. So good on her for being able to just kind of stay on her feet and finesse out of it. Simone looking on. I can imagine this is quite the atmosphere to kind of jump into and really be immersed in.
As a gymnast, do you feel like any additional pressure when you have someone like that with her stature in the sport sitting, she's 15, 20 feet from the beam when you're up there? Would that just creep into the back of your mind a little bit?
I think every athlete might have a different outlook on it. I think for me personally, I probably would use it as a little bit of a motivation. I tended to enjoy the added eyes, a little added pressure. I thought that was fun, but I mean, how could you not just be starstruck when you look over and see Simone Biles standing there? That's just awesome.
See, that's why you're an All-American. I would have crumbled to dust. I was walking by her in the concourse and felt weak in the knees. You know, you're just in the presence of history and greatness. And, yeah.
I certainly don't blame you. I mean, the accolades
to us mere mortals.
Yeah. Exactly.
Really fun to see the way that she has embraced this Georgia program, getting to be reunited with her former coach, and now after the long wait for Ferguson's score, look like we're about ready to resume on floor exercise. Talk about nerves and pressure. It's not fun to be standing there in front of the packed student section just waiting and waiting to get your chance to compete here, and we'll see how Kemp is able to handle it.
Just have to take everything as a lesson. You never know later down the road, maybe in postseason when you're going to have a long wait before your routine, but the great athletes are able to just turn it on when the hand goes up and you step onto the floor. She opens up with a huge full in, so the first E-pass that we'll see. Handles it great. Very controlled landing. As if the transition from Junior Olympic to college gymnastics isn't a lot already. I mean, performing floor routines in college is kind of a whole nother ball game. There's a bit of showmanship that goes into it, and judges are actually able to deduct from the routine if they don't think that you are really selling your dance. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Looks like she just got a little bit lost in the air as well, maybe. A little bit of trouble on that takeoff. That's a requirement to do those two salto elements in a row, so front layout to the 1.5, but of course didn't get the 1.5 to her feet and didn't quite get it all the way around, so there'll be a deduction for the fall as well as not completing the element.
So unfortunately now Boise State suffering their first real setback of the meet. You see the 9.05 from Ferguson, even though it didn't fall, but missing that element as part of her first pass. That was out of a 9.4 start value, so that was a big miss for her, and now Boise State in effect counting a fall. As we go back to beam, Georgia hoping to avoid that here. They need 3 hit routines beginning with Anya Turner.
Anya is another athlete who has a gorgeous triple series right at the top of the routine. Here we go. Wonderful. She became a mainstay in this Georgia beam lineup last season. Her teammates really trust her. You can see how she works with so much grace and precision, really using those arms with sharpness on the beam. It's actually pretty calming watching her, I have to say. Finishing her dismount 1.5 twist. Tiniest little hop on the landing. Really great routine from her. Check out this triple series one more time. Lay out, pulls it right up. Finishing with a smile, of course. That's so wonderful. Just the smallest shuffle on the landing. excellent beam work from her.
Trying to get Georgia back on track. They need 2 more hit routines. And Boise State, unfortunately, has hit a rough patch on floor, and this is where they would have their senior Emma McGovern instead scratched from the floor lineup. They do have senior in Blake Pascal moving up into this 4th position, trying to get Boise State back on track.
If there's anyone that you want to help get back on track, it's a senior, a lot of experience under her belt. Double tuck to open. Control through that pass. You'll notice that Blake is actually the first in the lineup to complete 3 passes. That's something else that's a little bit newer in college gymnastics. A lot of athletes opting for those 2 pass routines and getting a lot of their difficulty for their start value from the leaps and jumps. She goes for the 3 passes and a nice solid routine from her.
Important for Boise State to get a reset there, and Pascal able to give it to him.
See, she sets up with that first pass double tuck, holding onto that landing, and then of course going into her combination pass 1.5 punch layout. Love how she flows that layout, a lot of control.
And over to Jeffrey Scott, opened her season with a 9.775 last week on the beam at Denver.
We saw her fly high on the bars. She has quite a unique routine on the beam as well. Check this out. She does some front handspring work, but that's pretty fun in combination. Front handspring to back handspring layout series. You want to see those arms keep moving through the front handspring. Another key thing that the judges are searching for. Continuous movement. Leave no doubt that you're getting those connections. Showcasing incredible flexibility. Here we go, the moonwalk.
Crowd favorite and a little extra special on alumni night with some of the alums that were a part of that tradition. She's the 8th gymnast to do it over, gosh, close to 20 years now.
Pretty cool tradition to carry on. Front handspring to front full dismount. What an incredible routine. I'll take another look at that moonwalk. I mean, just a guaranteed crowd eruption. It's so fun. You think you could do that, Kevin?
I couldn't do it on the floor, let alone on a beam. Also, the difficulty of that series, the front handspring into the back twisting elements, having to keep that fluidity, like you said, the hands moving, the arms, there's just, that routine is loaded. There is just so much in there, and obviously a crowd pleaser. That was a good one.
She has so many cool tricks up her sleeve.
Another veteran, Emma Loyam, senior on floor for Boise State. She is the reigning Mountain West floor champion.
It's easy to see why she works with so much power in this routine, starting off with a whip to a double back instead of the traditional back handspring you'll see from a lot of athletes. Of course, adding a little bit of difficulty there.
also champion on the balance beam. She'll be in the beam lineup next as well.
Just such a fun athlete to watch. And of course, Emma is a twin. So pretty fun fact, her twin Hannah is over at Iowa State, and they will get to compete against each other later this weekend. So Boise State has essentially a double header, but pretty fun to be able to go up against your twin. Finishes her routine with a double pike. Great work. Take one more look at that last tumbling pass, finishing up with a double pike. Just such strong tumbling. Really is the whole package.
Back-to-back hits for Boise State. Now in the anchor position on beam, Lily Smith. Opened her season last week in Denver with a 9-9 on this event, and she is terrific to watch.
The lines and the precision that Lily works with, it's absolutely stunning to watch. This is a newer series for her, front aerial to back tuck, of course. Keeping those arms moving, that's the key. Leave no doubt that that series is a connection.
Recovering from a hand injury, you put in that element. You say, you know what, I'm doing this so well, I'm just going to keep it in there.
Lily, of course, was able to compete for Georgia on the NCAA stage as an individual last season. Went on to the national championships. Just a gorgeous front toss. Beam truly is poetry in motion. Just the dismount left, gainer full off the side. Exclamation point.
Standing routine for Lily Smith to cap off the beam rotation for Georgia. She'll also get to anchor floor.
I mean, check this out. Just front aerial right into the back tuck. Every move leaves no doubt in your mind, and then just boom, nails that landing. Her teammates are calling for a 10. I'm not so sure they're going to give it to her tonight, but I mean, just a really gorgeous routine and a good way to kind of pull this beam lineup back so that they can drop that low score.
She has got this crowd whipped up into a frenzy as well as the 10 signs and chants come out. This is as loud as they've been outside of Simone Biles calling the dogs here in Athens. Back over to floor amidst the chaos, Sydney Leach.
Opening up her routine with a double pike. We talk about that next man up mentality. She is one that has been working hard to get in this lineup and able to show up big for Boise State tonight, jumping in.
What they wanted, but they'll settle for a 9-9 from Lily Smith to cap off a 49-1 for Georgia on beam.
Oh, not able to pull that double tuck around. There's that endurance that you're talking about.
Well, again, Leach moving up from that exhibition position with the scratch to McGovern and a tough floor rotation here for Boise State. Georgia able to extend their lead as the Gym Dogs go 49 plus on beam. We're going to dive into Georgia's team culture and get you set for the final rotation from Athens after this.